in the club, we basically have to participate in a competition called RoboSub. I'm just gonna. So at this competition, the sub has to do many different tasks. So some of the tasks are you have to shoot a torpedo through a hole, you have to find and hit colored buoys underwater, you have to go through different gates, and there's also a different sound underwater that the sub has to go to. Now all of this, we have to do all by ourselves. We don't really have a technical advisor of sorts, so we have to look up all of this mechanical, software, electrical, and do it all by ourselves. So the sub was built about 2 to 3 years ago by some of the alumni, or yeah, they're alumni now. It was about $150,000 to make. Now because of this, we had to get a lot of sponsors from different companies, and that's mainly what the business division is for. We'll be talking about it later. Our software, we have over 6,000 lines of code, and this increases and decreases, like depending on, yeah. Each year we have about 30 to 35 new members. The reason why we don't allow everyone, as you guys can see, there's a lot of people here, and most of the time we meet in my garage, which isn't enough space for all of you guys. And so we have entrance assignments. We'll be covering that a little later. So some of our competitors. This competition is called RoboSub. It's mainly a collegiate competition, so most of the people are in colleges. There's Cornell, Caltech, and then there's a lot of international universities like University of Singapore, IIT Bombay, UC Berkeley is apparently going to be competing this year, and there's other teams like Duke as well.
Yeah, mechanical.
So now I'm going to introduce the mechanical subdivision. Throughout the year, mechanical is just responsible for building the submarine and building props. Now, props are basically models of the tasks that the submarine has to do in the actual competition. So when we go to pool test, we can use the props that mechanical builds in order to test if the submarine is doing what it's supposed to or not. Now, whenever we build something, we always design it, and then we can either manufacture it by sending it to a company like 3D Access, or we can buy it and then we put it together. Now, there are two main parts of mechanical. First is knowledge of the submarine. Now, throughout the year, mechanical might not have something to work on all the time.
Yeah.
These guys know about it, but throughout the year, you might finish with your assignment, but other people are still working on their assignment. So instead of watching YouTube or playing Hearthstone, which these guys know about, instead of doing those things, you can ask another subdivision if they need help. So for example, you can ask electrical if they need help or if they're doing anything, and if you can help out. And by doing that, you further the progress of electrical, but you also learn more as an individual, which is what you're here for the club. The second big part of mechanical is design. Now you might think if you become part of mechanical, it's all about building stuff. It's all about using your drill and power tools and stuff. But in actuality, design is the most important part, because when you design something in avbotz, it's not like building something with Legos. With Legos, if you make a mistake, you can just take the brick off, move it over a piece, bam, it's fixed. But in mechanical, when we design something and you make a mistake, it's hundreds, if not thousands of dollars down the drain, because we have to redesign it and then remanufacture it. So that's why design is one of the main parts of mechanical, even though you might not think so. Now I'm going to talk about the pneumatic system. Pneumatic system is one of the only systems that mechanical is responsible for currently on the submarine, and it consists of 5 Kogane solenoids, which are basically electronically controlled valves, and it basically allows software to interface with the pneumatic system. And each solenoid is paired with a pneumatic actuator, and yes, it is spelled bad. It is a brand name. I didn't spell it wrong. Now, each of these 5 pairs control 5 things on a submarine. We have 2 torpedoes, we have 2 grabbers, and we have a dropper that drops a marker. Now, the reason I talk about this is because this is the second part of your entrance assignment. These solenoids are not waterproof. And if you look at the box we have here, there's a plastic bag in it because the box was leaking. So one of the large problems we've had is waterproofing the box. It might not seem that hard, but we've tried commercially bought boxes, we've CNC'd our own, and a lot of it has not worked. So we are going to see if you guys can make a successful solution this year.
Alright, I'm Wonjun, and then I'll introduce electrical division. Alright, first off, this is Marlene's electrical diagram. Basically, this summarizes whole Marlene's electrical system in one diagram. You can see it has main board, which is Intel i7 motherboard built complete computer. And then there's control board, which is avmega. It's basically Arduino, if you guys are wondering. And then it controls all the low-level control of the Merlin submarine, like for example, mortars. And then, yeah. If you see, there's like 2 squares, and then this is all of these parts are inside of the main hall of Merlin, and then those are like outside of the sub, which we obviously have to waterproof a lot and then kind of pain to make. Yeah, this is our main hall, and then this usually goes inside of our acrylic dome or hall. But the problem is, as soon as more we take it out, there's more of electrical inconsistency happening. So this year's major task is trying to limit those count we pull it out of the sub, so that we limit those inconsistencies. And then this is avmega, that's kill switch we use, and that's a tether. And then one problem with tether we have again is it's old. It gets old like throughout the year. It gets dragged like on the ground. So this year's major task is like trying to figure out how to make these parts durable and then like making it last more. And yeah, what we do in electrical. First off, we obviously wire stuff inside of sub. And soldering, yeah, that's the main part too when we try to make stuff. For example, we have this waterproof connectors, and then we have to connect that inside of the electrical part of the sub. And then we have to configure out some complex wire diagrams, obviously, and then try to solder / wire so that it is completely watertight and then obviously works properly. Design is another part of electrical. Mechanical usually designs pretty much majority of stuff for us, but what I mean by electrical design is trying to figure out board layouts and the effective structure so that we can figure out electrical structure when we are trying to debug some problems. And then last of all, just plug it in, which basically is trying to figure out, so we basically have to, there's so many wires tangled inside of our main hall. We have to like get our probes and then like try to figure out what's connected to which one, and then like continuously figure out like where to plug stuff in, and then like we have to memorize like where the back end cap waterproof connectors goes. It's important job. It sounds simple, just plug it in. It's really important job, so it's one of the major tasks I put in there. A little bit sarcastic.
Excuse me.
Alright, so I'm David.
Sorry. Question for electrical. Why is it one of your main points to get a better, I don't know, organization system in place for the wiring?
Here's the thing.
Good question.
Yeah, we designed the sub about 2 or 3 years ago, and then it was messy, right? But our previous generation stuff it was worse than this.
Oh.
So like it was, and this is like actually more of a reliable / organized design now, but it's still pretty complex considering we have like electrical parts that's capable of doing all these stuff we have to do. We are obviously trying to make it more organized so that we know where stuff goes, but like we screw around with stuff a lot to debug. And then another process is major reconstruction we're doing this year. Obviously that will create more space or less space, so that's like we just have to continuously figure out what's going into the other spot and how we can figure out the like effective placement stuff. So yeah, that's why it can't be like major thing, but it's like major thing is paradox.
Thank you.
Alright, so I'm David, and I'm here to introduce the software subdivision.
Software privilege.
So basically what we do is we build the entire software stack that runs our sub. Almost everything we do is competition crucial. So if we screw up, our chances at competition are pretty much 0. And if we do well, we can do well at competition. So most of what we do is actually also open source at github.com/avbotz, where you can see the type of stuff we do. Alright, So the languages our sub currently uses are C, C++, and Python. And for hydrophones, we have languages such as MATLAB, HDL, and LabVIEW. And Simulink, yeah, I brought that. Some of the libraries we use are OpenCV, NumPy, SciPy, Armadillo, which Armadillo we aren't currently using, but I sort of want to use it next year, or this year. NumPy, SciPy, and Armadillo are basically math libraries. They help us do, they're basically pre-written functions that help us do things quicker. And finally, our preferred environment is some Linux or Unix-based OS. Arch is good. We don't really care about what IDE or text editor you use. It's up to personal preference.
So bad.
All right, so picture the show well, but basically our software architecture is split up into a few different parts. We have our control system, which sort of interfaces with the low-level controllers like our Arduino. We have interface, which handles inter-process communication. We have modeling, which provides sort of a probabilistic map of where everything is in the pool. We have vision, which are our higher level functions that help us determine what objects are in the water. And we have mission, which sort of decides where we go. And then you can't really see the image up there, but we use version control software to control like how our code is stored, how we update it, etc. So if you join the software subdivision, you're going to need to learn how to use Git. And then here's an example of one of our tasks. This is detecting PVC underwater, and this is actually from competition.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. The
Now
money.
we're here for business, okay? So, as it says, we're basically the money makers and savers, okay? So basically what the business subdivision does is that we make sure that the club has all the materials they need to succeed. Like the $150,000 that was used to create our current sub, yeah, that's from business, okay? So one of the major things that we do is we contact companies to try to get sponsorships from them that can either be in the form of materials, such as an FPGA, or that can be in like money or software that we can use. We also go around and talk to random people to see if they want to give us money.
Yeah.
One of the large tactics is we just keep on talking until they want us to go away. So that's one way. Another thing that we do is we do community outreach. So that's stuff like going to the farmers market and advertising our program there, and also trying to get money there as well, because it's all about money. We also deal with PR, so the business team will monitor, it'll like keep track of our Facebook profile, like our Facebook page, as well as our Instagram, or Twitter.
Twitter, okay.
We need to make one though. We can make Snapchat.
Make a Snapchat.
By Snapchat.
Oh. Okay, so yeah. So this is just a page that has a lot of the sponsorships that we've gone over time. So all these companies we have contacted in the past and gotten stuff from, either money or material. So yeah, we're going to be talking with a lot of these companies and many, many more to see if they want to give us free stuff. And yeah, for PR, what we do is we maintain websites and social media accounts, which are Facebook and Twitter. So yeah, just generally, business team, we make money. We negotiate deals with companies so that they give us discounts. Basically, yeah, money.
Basically, yeah.
Alright, I just gotta add one more
Wait,
thing.
one question. Someone's
Wait,
got a
let's
question.
hold questions till the end.
Alright, sure.
Just, is this for business or for the entire thing?
That's for business. It's okay.
It's
I can
good.
wait.
Okay.
Alright, so I know like you guys probably didn't understand like 50% of the terms we just used in the like past slides. The thing is
Yeah.